This is the plaintiff, Stephanie Searles. She says the defendant, a former employee of hers, who physically attacked her, also attacked her truck, damaging it. The out-of-control defendant's a horrible person. She needs to pay for her misdeeds. That's why she's handling it in the courts and suing her for the $480.22 she is owed. This is the defendant, Deja Smith. She says the plaintiff drew first blood by grabbing her arm and dragging her out of her daycare business right in front of all the kids. She fought back and defended herself, but the plaintiff picked up a chair and hit her in the head with it. Then she lied to the police and told them she scratched her car, which she didn't. The cops sent her home. She owes the plaintiff nothing, and she thinks the judge will agree. She's accused of beating up a car.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says her former employee attacked her and her truck, but the defendant says the plaintiff attacked her first, even hit her in the head with a chair. It's the case of the HR Field Day.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Stephanie Searles.
Yes, ma'am.
You are suing Deja Smith, your former employee, for $480.22. The cost to repair a truck that you say she maliciously scratched.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what happened?
On June 25th, I was in my kitchen. I have a home daycare. And I was in my kitchen finishing up breakfast and making a to-do list for my employee and my daughter.
How many people do you have working for you?
I have one technically. My daughter's my assistant, but she's not old enough to work with me. But
How old is your daughter?
She's 14.
Okay.
And Deja came in that day. I didn't realize Deja was there because it was after 8:30, and her shift starts at 8:30. And so I called my daughter to the kitchen. I said, hey, did you get your text message of your to-do list? She said, yes, ma'am. I said, well, I'm not sure where Deja is. And she said, Deja's in my room. I said, okay. I didn't realize she had came in. So at that point, I sent Deja her text message of her to-do list also. And at the top, I went back and asked her why was she late that day.
Okay, how late was she?
I said 8 minutes, she said 6 minutes. So,
okay.
That's a discrepancy right there. But I was like, okay. I said, go ahead and start the list instead of being in my daughter's room. And so she went into the daycare room, which is my garage, and she began to send the text messages back to me. And then it got to the end where she tells me that because I switched her hours, and she's supposed to know her hours a week in advance, and therefore she's going to be late some days.
Oh, that's it. That was the trigger. That was the little trigger.
Once she said that she was going to be late, I stopped texting her and I went to the daycare room.
Okay. The kids are in there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm standing in the doorway. When she sees me, she begins to yell. I say, Deja.
Yell what?
That I'm taking advantage of her because she lives so close to me, and that I don't realize that she has to wake someone else up to bring her to work, and that she has to wait on a ride. And so she's still yelling. And I said, Deja, I said, anytime you're on a job or anywhere you go, you need to be at least 15 minutes early because that's just good practice. And she screams, you're treating me like I'm one of your children, and I'm not. I said, well, I'm not going to argue with you. And then she says, well, don't then. That's when I tell my 14-year-old, Kamaya, take the children into the other room. And so at this point, I said, Deja, I'm going to call 911 because you need to go. I'm not going anywhere.
Why do you have to call 911? Why don't you just say you need to go?
I told her that 3 times before. She says she's not going anywhere.
She's waiting on her ride. You're not going to get paid to stay.
She's waiting on her ride.
Oh.
So when my children take her out, I said, Deja, you can wait in the driveway. She says, I'm not going outside and waiting in the driveway. And I walk towards her, which is the gate, to open the gate to let her out.
Here's what I want you to do. I want you to pretend that my bailiff is Deja.
Okay.
And you walk towards her house. Come out here and show me.
Okay. She's standing this way and kind of like looking back at me like this. I walk towards her and I say, Deja, I do not want to call the police. And I do this, and I'm guessing she thinks I'm going to hit her. She says, do not put your hand on me. And she does this. I do this, and then we started wrestling.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. No licks were passed.
No what?
Nope. I didn't hit her. She didn't hit me. This is, I'm not trying to fight, Deja.
You want her to step back with the mic?
No, I want her to stay right there.
I'm not trying to fight, Deja. She's pulling my hair, and we're like this. She's standing, I'm like this. The only thing I had was the chair. I picked the chair up and I swung the chair.
A little plastic kitty chair?
Yes, ma'am.
And you hit her with it?
Yes. She stopped, and she backed up, and she says, "You're losing your license, and you're going to jail." I shut the garage door down, and then she goes outside. I get on the phone, I call 911. My daughter and both my kids go to the front room. Okay, at this point, my daughter comes back in the room. She's running. "Mom, she's scratching your truck. She's scratching your truck." I get back on the phone with 911 and says, "Look, get the police here fast. She's vandalizing my vehicle." After all this was said and done, the police came.
Go ahead and go back to the lectern. By the time the police get there, has she left?
No, ma'am, she never left.
Oh, she left at some point.
No,
But so
she was
the
outside. She never left my yard.
Did the police arrest her?
No, ma'am, because what they told me was that it's not about what we know, it's about what we can prove.
Ms. Smith, what's going on? What's your version of what happened?
Yes. Okay. So up until the point where she said she came into the garage. When she came into the garage, I did not immediately just go off on her. She came in and said, "Well, since you feel that way," because I had texted her, since you're not using the schedule where I know my hours, I can look at a schedule and say, "Okay, this is the time that I come in." She says I should be 15 minutes early, but you text me 15 minutes before I should be in. So there's no possible way that I can have that time. So I said, since you're not using that system, there might be a, time that I'm late due to just miscommunication. I didn't say it, rude or anything. I was being very professional with her. She comes in.
You're not, because you're texting it. If you're going to tell a boss, hey, there's going to be times when I'm late, so you'll just have to deal with it.
I never said deal with it.
I know you didn't say you just have to deal with it, but how old are you?
19.
Okay, let me explain to you human interaction. Mm-hmm. I know you didn't say so you'll just have to deal with it, but that is what is implied in the sentence, there are times when I'm going to be late. So if it's not what you meant to say, don't say it. So that's why you have the human interaction, because if you're looking at her getting mad, then you say something that tones it down. So she comes in and she's mad because she feels like it was disrespectful. Right. She says what to you and you say what to her?
She says, "Well, if you feel that way, you can just start coming in at 10 from now on permanently." So I said, "Okay, that's fine, whatever. I don't really care." So she just walks up towards me, and she had already told me that I could leave. So I said, "Okay, that's fine," because who wouldn't want the day off? I don't have a problem with leaving. Bye, see you later. So
why didn't you just walk outside?
Because I'm at this point in time, I'm not really thinking about it. I'm just like, okay,
she says
whatever.
That she told you step outside and you wouldn't.
No, she didn't say step out. Put me out as in when she said she walked up to me.
Okay, let's come back here, and my bailiff is going to be you, and you're going to be her. Show me what. Okay. All right, so you're going to be her, and Douglas is going to be you. Go ahead.
Yes, so I was actually sitting in the corner, and it's a wall here, and it's a chair. So she was on the other side of the room, standing at the garage door, where she said she came in and stayed at the door. So now she's walking towards me like, in her, let's say her garage that's up here. Okay, but she's on this side. So she says, "Well, just come on, you can just get out," like that. And I said,
and she grabbed your wrist?
Yes, she never tried to, "Okay, come on, let's go." So then she still tries to drag me out, and that's when I strike her.
Okay, and how do you strike her? Do it to him.
And she was in front of me, actually, so It wasn't like I hit her like this behind the head. I, hit her.
How did you hit
her? Across the face, I wanted to hit her.
Okay.
It wasn't don't touch me.
Okay,
it was,
because she
me.
kept asking you to leave, you wouldn't, and then she took your wrist.
No, she never kept asking me to leave.
Okay, so but why are you upping the ante? So it sounds like what you described is she took your wrist, and then you didn't want her putting any hand on you, so you hit her.
I'm telling her, let me go. If you wanted me to leave, is the case, just say that, because I'm already leaving anyways. I don't care to sit here or outside.
I'm not buying that you're leaving anyway, because there's no reason for her to start walking up and escort you
because
out
she's
unless
mad that
you're
I'm not
leaving.
getting angry with her. I'm still sitting there like, okay, whatever you're doing, all that.
Go ahead and
arguing.
go back to the lectern. And now, so then what happens? So you hit her, and then what happens after that?
And we start fighting. That is then when she picked up the chair and hit me over the head with it. When my head is down, I'm trying to get my phone, and we start fighting a second time. That's when I told her, now you're going to jail. You're finna lose your license. I then went outside, and her daughter just brought me my things. And I called the police also. So it wasn't like I was just out there scratching her truck. I already knew this lady hit me over the head.
She says you scratched her truck, so you weren't just out there scratching the truck?
No, I was not scratching.
Did you scratch her truck?
No.
Well, it sounds like you did. based on the sentence that just came out of your mouth. I called the police also. It's not like I was just out there scratching her truck. Why does a person say that if they didn't scratch the truck?
You can hear it in my 911 call that I'm telling the 911 dispatcher, now she's scratching my vehicle, she's scratching my vehicle. When I called back.
Do you have the 911 tape?
Yes, ma'am, I gave it to.
Okay, hold on. We have it right here.
It was 3 different calls.
Yep, got it.
Yes, I need the police at my house. Like right now, I have a home daycare, and my assistant went crazy, slapped me in my face. She's throwing stuff in my car, and I have a house full of kids. Hush, baby.
Is she white, black?
She's black. She's walking down the street, but she's throwing stuff at my vehicle. Don't worry about it, Mom. Don't go out that door. Because like I said, she slapped me in my face. Police a few minutes ago, and she's still outside, and she scratches up my vehicles, and the police is still not here. Hold on a second.
She's inside. She's making these phone calls. She's telling the police that you're scratching up the vehicle, okay? How is she doing that if she's not actually seeing you scratch up the vehicle?
Exactly.
Because it's not like she makes this up after you've left when she thinks about it and thinks this would be a good thing to pin on you. She must be seeing you scratch the vehicle.
So if an employee says, hey, I'm just going to be late sometimes, can't guarantee I'll be on time all the time, can you fire them for that?
I think so, if it was all the time.
Well, it's not all the time. They just say, I will not guarantee I will be on time every day. Is that grounds to fire somebody?
Yes.
Because?
Because you expect them to be there on time. If they have that attitude that, well, I'm just going to be, it's laissez-faire.
So it's very good. Excellent. Going inside the courtroom.
She lends her truck out all the time, so those scratches probably.
Sweetheart, do you hear me? Look at me. I have cross-examined first-degree murderers. You think you are a challenge for me? I just listened to a tape where she's still inside the house.
Exactly.
Stop. I just listened to a tape where she's still inside the house. She's so agitated that she has called the police because you're scratching her car. Show me the pictures of the damaged car. Are you kidding me?
And
if not you, then who?
When the
she
police-
loans her car out. Must have been somebody else who she fired.
She has videos
Come on.
also outside of
Plus,
her
I
house
know that when the
that
lady's
were
trying
not
to get you
working.
out, stop talking and listen. I know that when the lady's trying to get you out, you won't get out. That is why she walks over to you and, depending on who you believe, lightly puts her hand on your arm, doesn't touch you at all, or takes you by the wrist. Either way, you're the one who then smacks her. I know exactly who you are. You've shown me who you are. You can stand there and be beautiful, and it doesn't matter because I know exactly who you are. You are showing it at every moment. You're not even afraid or upset that you're somebody who's your elder, your boss has fired you for insubordination. You don't care.
I actually wasn't fired at
don't
that
talk.
time.
This is the part where you listen. I already listened to you guys talk. You don't care. And you know what? This is something you're going to have to learn how to deal with and walk away from, or you're not going to be able to hold a job. And what do you think? That this is something that happened like by a little accident? This is deliberate, malicious action on the part of somebody with her car keys in her hands.
I don't even have a car. That's why I had to get a ride.
Yeah, well, you know what? Then I guess the rocks around it, because I see the pebbles on the floor, so maybe that's what you used.
She has rocks in her yard. For
Lady,
grass.
listen to me.
Even when the
there is
police
no
came,
doubt
they asked me, ma'am,
in the
we're
mind
going to look at her video
of anybody
and see.
within the sound of my voice that it was you who scratched that car. And therefore, you are going to pay for it. $480.22. Pay the lady.
Well, everything points to the defendant scratching up that car, and so you come out on the losing end of this case. What's going through your mind here?
I still feel like she knows she's lying and she needs to learn how to run a business.
Look, you're 19. Don't you think you have some things to learn, too?
Yeah,
at that
that's
age?
definitely true. But in order to get respect, you have to get it regardless of how old I am. I'm still her employee, so she should give me that respect at least.
Right. An employer has to respect an employee, and vice versa.
Right.
An employee has to...
Also give respect.
Oh, so what have you learned out of all this?
Just to walk away from the situation, not let it get so escalated.
All right. Right around the corner this way. All right, step on in here and tell me what's going through your mind here.
I'm excited that I won. It's a victory for daycare providers everywhere because we get this backlash from employees that are disgruntled and they do vicious and malicious things. Mm-hmm. I'm excited.
All right. Harvey?
You know, one thing, Kurt, you should know, if you intentionally damage somebody's property, not only can you be sued, you can be prosecuted.